Hi, YouTubers. This is a continuation of Thoughts for Food, and I'm going to quit saying that, but I'm going to be changing the title to just TFF with a number, and then a dash, and then the title. And the title of this one is going to be God's Will and Character. It's not intended to be a full discussion on His character or His will, but to give kind of a comparison between different ideologies about God. Some think that He is a murderer. Some think that He is loving and has never caused a death. But I'd like to propose that the truth of the matter is somewhere in between. And I don't usually try to make a point like that without giving some kind of a why. And so I hope to do that also in this video. And the first thing I would like to mention is this. When sin entered the human experience, God's perfect will was interrupted. His perfect will was that man never sin. But that was broken with Adam's rebellion. And ever since that time, God has never actually been able to have His perfect will. And some people say, oh, now He's a weak God. Oh, yeah, well, but no, that's not at all the case. He is a loving, merciful God, gracious unto us. And He could have just wiped out Adam and Eve and started over. But the angels would have seen that, and they would have seen that Satan was right. If you break God's law, you die. He'll kill you. But God wanted people to recognize, including Satan, that breaking His law, disobedience, brings death. Sin brings death. Breaking of God's law is sin. Sin is a transgression of the law. And so, from that point on, His perfect will has not been done. He couldn't wipe out Cain because he killed Abel. I mean, why didn't He just then wipe out Satan and not send him to earth, and then us have to suffer? Our suffering is God's glory, and perhaps I'll get to that, and if not, in this video, another one. And when we consider the fact that God is eternal, He wasn't created by anything. There is this thing floating around the internet that says God must have been created because all things were created, and so God, therefore, who created God, and so on. But it's outside the biblical realm, of course. We are living in eternity. We are living, and I don't like to say it any other way, except I will say, in the midst of eternity, God has placed a span of time. Thus far, approximately 6,000 years have gone by. Men have progressed greatly. They progressed greatly before the flood. There was tremendous intellect and knowledge at that time, because these men lived to be 900 years old, and men and women. They lived to be 900 years old, and so they had an opportunity to become brilliant, each one of them in their own right. But instead, they chose to become only evil continually. And to save a few 8, the Lord had to remove. You can say it however you wanted to, but he didn't do it with malice. He did it with mercy and love and graciousness toward Noah and his family because of Noah's righteousness. He totally submitted to God. When you consider obedience to God, it means keeping His commandments. They weren't written down till Sinai, but they were known. And the idea, for me, is much different than it was for the Jews, Hebrews, because they witnessed a vengeful God. That was their perspective. And God takes the brunt of that. But that's not His character. That is His presumed character. And I know that may get a lot of comments, negative, but it goes right along with he no longer has his perfect will. He has his perfect will and he has his submissive will. He has to submit sometimes because he has to constrain himself. He can't lie and cheat and steal and bear false witness and deceive like Satan can. He can't go by those same rules. God has to be fair and honest and merciful and gracious and kind. But He doesn't have to be that way. That is how He is. God is love. Yes, He wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah, and He's going to destroy all of sin and anyone who's attached to it when He returns the second time. For the sake of the few who will be saved because they allowed Him to, accepted His sacrifice, and abided in His love. We all have that choice. We can or won't. We will or we, for some reason, just can't. God will greatly bless those who do, because that's His character, to bless. Our character is to reject His blessings, and we often do.